morning. We are coming to you from the side of a cliff.
Literally.
What we won't do to get a shot, right?
It's a 1,000-foot drop right there. Headed over to a little spot here just outside our campsite. We're going to do a little follow-up on our first month of full-time RVing. So we're kind of going to the woods here and off to a little point out right on the edge of the Mogollon Rim that looks out over this really nice valley. So we thought that'd be a cool place to do our follow-up. So as I walk and navigate all the ankle-breaking boulders here, I'm going to give you a shot of what it is we're walking through and where we're going to. 1,000-foot drop right there.
Yeah, and if the wind blows hard enough, I was joking to Brian that at least the camera will capture our descent as we go down. No, hopefully not. Yeah. We should be safe. It's a little windy up here.
Today.
We have some really exciting news. Something that it really surprises Brian and I, but it's also really exciting. What are you doing with that? Oh. We're not in sync this morning. 600 subs. Woo! You're leaving me hanging. You're leaving me hanging, bro. 600 subs.
And growing. We want to make sure that we're bringing value to the subscribers that we do have. And as always, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. If you like our content, then give us a big thumbs up for these videos that we're doing.
Yes. Yes, so again, 600 subscribers, that is awesome. We are really excited about that, and thank you so much for joining our journey, and we hope to continue bringing you great content and growing our community as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So here we are, honey, 1 month. 1 month as full-time RVers, 30 days have gone by, and I think we have some good, some bad, some ugly, and some lessons learned to share with others. And did we mention where we are right now? Besides being on the side of a cliff?
Yeah, so we're on the side of a cliff.
I mean, we literally are on the side of a cliff.
I mean, there's a rock right here.
Right here.
And just beyond that rock, 6 feet, I don't know, 6 or 8 feet is cliff. So
it is, and I'm sitting forward in my chair. And
you can see in the background, this is a big valley back here, which is part of the Sitgreaves, Apache Sitgreaves National Forest. And that's where we are. We're in the free camping area of the forest, 14-day limit, which is really cool. It's all dry camping here. We've been coming up here for many years, and wanted to make kind of one last stop on the way out of Arizona as we go up through Holbrook, Arizona, over to Gallup, New Mexico, and then ultimately up to. I like those hand gestures. It's awesome, isn't it?
Yep. Watch my nose.
Ultimately up to Box Elder, South Dakota. So that goes into a little bit of what Shauna was talking about earlier about where we are, where we're going, and where we're going to end up. But anyway, Apache Sitgreaves National Forest.
In Arizona. We're still in Arizona.
Yeah, this is the high country of Arizona. Yes. And this is called the Mogollon Rim, and I'll make sure I spell that for you so you know actually how to pronounce that, because when you see it spelled, everyone wants to say Mogollon.
Mogollon, yeah.
But it's actually Mogollon. Anyway.
Yes, and we're working on some content that to share with you about Arizona and what you may be surprised to know or to learn about Arizona.
Yeah, it's not all deserts and rattlesnakes and scorpions.
It's not. No, there's so much more to it.
There's beautiful high country like this, and even more beautiful high country like this as you get further north.
Right. So more to come on that one. Yeah. All right, so why don't we get into it? How has our first 30 days been going? We moved into the RV in Arizona. We went into an RV park for about a week after our house sold, and to help us kind of get set up, get our RV going, get everything, make sure we packed appropriately, and then in anticipation of heading down to Rocky Point, Mexico. Hi guys, we are finally on the road. Woo! Do I hear a woo from the driver's seat? Then we headed to Puerto Peñasco, Rocky Point. We did a video on that, which was a lot of fun.
If you haven't seen those, check out those videos. It's always a great time in Mexico. And
always.
In our videos, we constantly say, how safe we feel there and how the people love to have us there. And I've never had any issue. And frankly, I think through our 30 plus years going there, I've really only heard of 1, maybe 2 people that have ever had any problems there. So, nothing to be afraid of.
No. In fact, one of our subscribers as well, actually, our video on Puerto Penasco was an inspiration for them to go and try it, which is, for us, that was the whole intent.
Sure.
And I think that we hit our goal then. Even one person who wanted to try. So Rocky Point is also our happy place. It's one
of our happy places.
Yeah, it's probably the happiest place on earth for me. For Brian, it's Disneyland.
Disneyland for me.
It's Rocky Point.
Tom Sawyer Island, to be exact. I love that place.
A lot of exploring.
Yeah.
It's
that's what I did. That's how I grew up as a kid. I grew up in places like this as a kid, and we lived out into the country and forests, and I would get up in the morning and go out and just adventure all day long. My parents never knew where I was, except I was out, and they didn't care. They knew I was, responsible and safe. So this is kind of another one of my happy places.
All right, so we left Rocky Point and we headed back to family member's house in Arizona to pick up some items that we had to leave in Arizona that we couldn't take into Mexico. And that's when we discovered that we had an RV issue. We did do a video on that as well, and Brian will cover that in a little bit in our video here. He's going to go through some of the lessons learned. So we stayed in Arizona for almost a week. Yeah, stayed with family members for almost a week while we got that taken care of. And we are still in Arizona. I feel like we've done a big circle. We're still in Arizona right now, enjoying the forest, enjoying the BLM land, and we're getting ready to head out tomorrow on our continuing our journey to New Mexico.
Yeah, so tomorrow we'll be heading out. It's only about a 4-hour drive, so we try to plan our days. So we drive about 4 hours, and we're in the next campground at a reasonable time so that we can get set up and get comfortable. Yeah, and definitely before dark, if at all possible.
Yes, if at all possible, definitely. And we do have reservations at a pretty cool place, which we're excited to get to.
Arizonans.
Those Battleborn batteries that you installed, the extras, really did a nice job for us. No worries.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier with those, and with the solar coming in, and my running the furnace all night and everything. We have not had any concerns with how much power we should use, shutting this off, not using that. We've been just acting normal. And my batteries haven't dropped below about, I think 89.2% was the lowest I've seen them. That's awesome. So that is very good. Yeah.
Yes.
So happy we made that switch. So what are you loving? What are you missing?
Ooh, what am I loving? What I'm loving right now is the simplicity and the freedom that we've never had before, I think. The changing landscape, the changing view out of our windshield. Oh my God, I'm loving it. Loving it. How about you?
Yeah, the travel days, I think travel days are exciting because I do like seeing different things on our travel days. That's always exciting to me. As far as managing the RV on travel days and, navigating traffic and things like that doesn't really bother me. We've been through some heavy traffic days getting through parts of Phoenix, so
God.
That kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I'm sure it'll be worse in some areas, but we just have to make sure we time our travel days so that we miss the peak traffic.
I think I was more of a problem when it came to traffic. I was in heavy Phoenix downtown traffic on a regular basis. And it didn't necessarily bother me, but being in the motorhome where I know people are very quick to pull right in front of you and not give you that stopping room, I was white knuckling it. I wasn't even driving, and I was white knuckling it all the way through that rush hour traffic.
I mean, there have been a couple times I've had to really slam on the brakes, and fortunately the coach has handled well. And in fact, coming up here, we were going down. It's called the Beeline Highway. And just before we get into the Indian Reservation, there's a stoplight, and I was doing about 50 miles an hour, and I was, I don't know, a couple hundred yards from that light.
Yes.
So I start slowing down, just anticipating, but that's a big rig. I'm 26,000 pounds, which is, among our Class A RVs is pretty light, but that light changed when I was a couple hundred feet from it. I couldn't stop. I just had to completely, I just laid on my horn as I went through the intersection. Fortunately, everyone knew what was happening around me and let me just go through the red light. I couldn't do anything differently.
Thank God.
Yeah, at least I couldn't do anything differently that was any safer. Thank God someone didn't pull out in front of me. But I just could not stop the rig, even though I anticipated that these kinds of things happen.
Yeah, so there's something to think about.
So that would be awesome if anyone has experienced that same sort of thing, and what you do in that situation. Leave a comment and let me know how you handle those kinds of things. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and that part too is kind of a downhill. You gain speed as you're going through there. It's not really congested. You're gaining speed, and then boom, here comes the light, and you're doing all you can to get your rig stopped. So yeah.
So for me, what do I miss? What do I don't miss? Don't miss. There's nothing that I really miss.
I can't think of anything.
Can't think of anything I miss. I certainly don't. And we talked about this. I know what I don't miss. I don't miss the stress. I don't miss all the stuff that was in our life before. I know I don't miss that.
Let me think right now. Maybe when we're doing this 6 months from now, we might have something more that we miss. But.
Yeah, I mean, we feel totally comfortable in our coach. It's has all the room we need, has everything we need.
Is there anything as far as the lessons learned that you'd like to share, or that you can think of that would be important? I know we've shared a few already.
Yeah, I think the biggest lesson learned is that just like in a normal life where you live in a house and you have the cars and the 2.8 children and a dog and picket fences, that things are going to break.
Yes.
And that just because you're moving out of that into an RV, things will probably seem like they're breaking more often. Because just like I've heard this expression from someone, if you have problems with your marriage in a 3,000 square foot home, then those are going to be amplified in a 250 square foot home. Well, that same rationale goes with problems and things that break. It just seems like in an RV situation, things are breaking more frequently because they're using them more frequently.
Right.
And a lot of people say, and this is true, I mean, your home goes through an earthquake every time you drive it down the road. So things are going to happen. We've had a number of things happen already. And, 2 slides that broke, I had to have those fixed. One was broken quite a while ago. One just broke on our way back from Mexico. The big rock chip on the driver's side window. Just got another big rock chip the other day. Fortunately, I have a window repair kit, and I repaired those cracks and bullseyes, so saved me a lot of time and money.
And that might be something, that we want to maybe link to, because that was definitely a money and a time saver for the windshield.
Huge, simple. It was kit cost $15. I'll put a link to it. And it takes a little bit of time to do it and patience.
And you're going to experience that on the road.
Absolutely.
Guaranteed.
And these were minor. I mean, I've had some much worse cracks in my automobile. But so those kinds of things, they just sort of amplify when you're in the smaller home and it's a mobile home. So those, I guess the lesson learned there is to not expect that things aren't going to happen, because they are going to happen. Yeah,
just be prepared. And I think the lesson that we learned was just staying positive, using our resources, know that we'll get it fixed, we'll get to the end of it, we'll be able to move on. It can seem kind of, I don't know if devastating. Devastating is kind of a hard word, but it felt like, oh my God, we got to put on the brakes now. We can't keep moving forward. It's being considered here. I think we are in a good place to deal with this. Definitely in a good place.
Yeah. So we're going to make our own pissed video about the 4 things that have happened to us to keep us from getting onto our adventure up north into South Dakota.
Yeah.
Pissed is what it's going to be called. Anyway, that's our rant for now. In this world of Amazon and instant gratification and things at your fingertips within a day or even an hour or 2 hours, wow, has that really affected my mindset, because you're so used to having those things at your fingertips very quickly.
Yes.
When you're out on the road, you have to do a lot of research and find out what's available in your next spot. And sometimes you have to take what you get.
Right.
And hopefully that's going to be good enough. So that's been, going back to some of the hardest things for me, that's been one of the tougher things for me is learning that I can no longer just have things at a snap of my fingers, and that I have to do a lot more research and waiting. I have to wait for things now, which for an impatient person, I mean, I'm not totally impatient, I can be, but for an impatient person, that's going to be problematic on the road.
Yeah. Well, we'll work through that.
Yeah.
I think I probably balance you out in that area.
Yep.
Yeah.
Certainly do.
Yes. Well, you did something that was really smart too with that RV breakdown that we had with the slide. You ordered, what is that?
Yeah.
Oh, you ordered the part.
Cables.
Because we could, because we had,
Right.
we were stationary, you ordered the part, paid next day for it, had it available. We had a little bit of difficulty trying to find an RV repair place that would actually take us in sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
But you ordered the part, had it on hand so that they didn't have to do that. Once we found a service center, you took it in, they were able to jump right into getting the rig fixed. So if you have the ability to do that, highly recommend it.
So I stopped in and met the owner. He said, you know what? Just so happens I don't have anything scheduled right now. I did that purposely because we have a family event. I didn't want to get wrapped up in all that. But if you can get your RV here, we'll get it started in the next hour for you. I was blown away.
That's amazing.
So I go to the other shop, pick up the rig.
And part of that is you let him know that we're full-timers.
Right.
Yes, this
Right.
is our home.
I told him I was in a bind, and he was
Yes.
like, okay. He was a Christian man, so he said, I'm going to help another fellow human being out, which was awesome. So I go pick up the rig. We were back in, I don't know, 45 minutes or so, pulled into the lot, and they started work immediately.
They did.
As soon as I pulled it in, they said, back it up
Yeah.
here, and they started tearing that thing apart and fixing it. And we had it back the next day, and it took them a total of about 5 hours to fix. It was a pretty big job, this particular slide out. So, but Pete, the owner of Main Street RV, super great guy. If you're ever here in Apache Junction, Arizona, and you need some repair work done, definitely stop by Main Street RV.
You want to do the happy dance? I don't know. If
Probably not going to do any happy dance.
I'll do the happy
Yeah, you can do the happy dance. You can
Try to do it with
Shauna's a happy dance. Yeah, I'm the reserved dance.
You're dancing in your brain, in your
Yeah.
mind, yes.
So we are super happy to get back on the road.
One of the questions that we get is, did we pack appropriately? Did you bring too much, not enough? And I would say right now, we packed appropriately, believe it or not.
Yeah.
We still had like 300 pounds that we could play with before the rig was maxed out. Well, play with is kind of generous, but we did well. We're getting a little bored with our clothing selection, but you know, we'll cycle that as we go, I'm sure.
So it's amazing how my frame of mind has changed about clothing. I think I talked in a couple other videos. I usually bought high-end clothing, and I spent way too much money on my clothing and shoes, and because that was just part of my professional persona. So now I'm t-shirts and shorts, flip-flops.
Good point.
Got a pair of Crocs that I like wearing when I would never have worn those before.
Never would have worn Crocs.
And you know, I'm leaning towards being okay with going to a Goodwill or someplace like that and finding good quality used clothing that doesn't cost a fortune. And
I think
you know,
that's.
I'm okay with that.
I think that's really true for both of us. We were very, very professional. Wore suits, dresses. I wore dresses. You didn't. High heels. You know, all of that. And now this is what we wear so often. It's just t-shirts, shorts, hats. Love it, because that's all part of that simplicity and that freedom, not having to worry about getting up 1 to 2 hours early, on my part, to get ready for work and then having the commute and all of that. So yay, t-shirt, shorts, and baseball caps.
Yeah. You know, we could easily stay in this area for 14 days.
Oh,
not
easily.
a problem.
Yes.
But we are kind of running up against a timeline now, and once we get to South Dakota and get all that taken care of, things can slow down again. But until we do that, we need to kind of keep pressing a little bit ahead of schedule.
Yeah, but not every day. We won't be traveling every day.
Not every day.
We're looking to stay a week here and there as we hit Santa Fe. We'll probably stay a week. I know there's a lot to see there. Our next location we might be 2 days, 3 days. But that's the beauty of this lifestyle, because you can choose whether you want to stay a week, a day, a month, whatever that might be.
That's right.
Yeah, very exciting. All right.
Well, I think that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Yes.
Again, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Give us a big thumbs up if you like this video or any of our videos. Be sure to leave comments below. And again, we'll leave descriptions to all the stuff we've talked about below for you to check out.
Hit the notification bell, and then you'll know when we have a new video that's coming out.
That's right. Every week. And we've been a little inconsistent, we know, every single week, but only because of tech connectivity issues have kind of derailed us a bit. But anyway, every single week, look for our videos, and
Yeah,
think.
and check us out on Instagram. We're on Instagram as well. We have a Facebook page, and we have a blog at lifeuninterrupted.com where we put some additional content that you don't see in our videos.
And all those links will be in the description,
They
so you
will
can
be.
check those out.
Yes, definitely. And we've really enjoyed sharing our recap with you. We look forward to sharing some information about Arizona and where we stayed. I think you might be surprised. So stay tuned for that. Yes, and we're going to demonstrate one of our favorite, is it an accessory? Would you call it an accessory?
Well, it's a camping, I'd say a camping accessory, not so much a gadget, but yeah.
So that's
cool
coming up as well.
Cool little item. Yeah.
Definitely.
I think all that's left to be said is...
See ya.
What is going on, Adventure Nation?
Stop it.
I thought that would be funny. We watched the motorhome experiment with Paul and Lorena, and I've always wanted to say that. It's kind of a cool intro.
It just kind of rolls off your tongue. It
So.
is a cool intro. Are you in? Oh, I see it autofocusing. All right, it looked like it went. Is it doing that? Testing.
It's focused on your face, yeah.
Oh, that's not good. So if I move back, it's going to move back?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. All right, you ready?
Supposed to do that. 3, 2.
Why don't we start with where we've been?
So where we've been,
Well, we started in Arizona. Yeah. Real quick, how can you tell if we're still recording?
the red light
Do you see it?
right in the right corner.
I don't see a red light.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
as
there.
long as you see
I
one.
can see.
Why don't you can ask me.
So, what are you loving? What are you
Has
missing?
there been any other than, woo, bee? I'm not afraid of bees, but I'm not allergic, but still, he's in the way. Bees? Stop it. Okay.
Maybe we just rambled on. Let's just say we've and all those things. So it does that automatically.
Such cornballs.
You are a cornball.
You're a cornhole.